good. Good, so it's live now on YouTube. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Pound pairs are moving quite nicely within the range, up and down, range bound price action. Just waiting. I think it may well be like this for the next few days, this week in particular. They are trying to get Brexit sorted. Right, so that's all set up. Let's minimise that. What's this here? So are you still holding a short, George, on, you still holding all of those shorts on gold, or have you now taken some profit when it went down to?
I've moved my stops. They're fairly nicely in profit anyway.
Okay. Okay, let's minimise that. Don't need to worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my positions at the moment in gold that are short.
Oh, you're 5. Okay. Where's your highest, or where's your stops?
All my stops 1797 or 1800 or thereabouts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The biggest one is at 1800.
Okay.
1797. That's the biggest position at the moment, which should go closed out would cover everything at the moment.
Yeah.
More than cover. Actually, the others are in profit. A couple of them are just in profit. On that other level that I sent you a picture of in your Discord.
Yeah.
So I took a couple of positions at 1773, 1776.
Okay. So did you not take anything in terms of profit from the 73 or 76? Did you, or are you looking for a longer term move down, or how's that work?
I think I'm going to aim for around the 1750
Okay.
or just before 1750.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what it does here now at 70, 71. we've had a decent move, and we have had a nice double bottom. When the fact that it did go and test the lows down at 64, 1764, 1765 area, that was just a place where some profit should have been banked, or it's a double bottom support. It's just a nice place to say, okay, we're going to take some profit, or see some profit taking happening. It's just, yeah.
Also still holding that DAX from weeks ago, if you remember.
Oh, okay. How's that going? What are you doing with that? Are you long, shorts on that? I can't remember.
Long, going into profit, into drawdown, into profit, into drawdown. Couldn't make its mind up.
Yeah, I think that
Last
makes
few
sense.
days, obviously, as you've seen, it's gone a bit bullish, so pretty good profit there at the moment. I think it's going to follow the Dow's lead and create some new highs.
Yeah.
It actually gapped up this morning, which was huge. This morning it gapped up about 100 points. Well, this is alright if it keeps going, and then it freaking let me retrace. Should have used my fibs there.
Use the fibs, George.
I didn't want to add to the position. I was already in the position, so. But yeah, that would have just been, if you just look at it, it was just so right for a 62 and a 76 point. Well, it didn't quite get to 76.4, but 62 would have been just good enough.
Yeah, let's see gold come off these highs now off here and just do another little step down. That would be good. We'll see. I think, to be fair, gold could do with a big shunt or jolt to the upside, but we'll see when and if that happens.
So,
Well, no, I mean, because it has now.
double bottom. It's actually triple bottom if you look at.
Yeah, it has. If you look like on a 15-minute or 1 hour, you can see. Even the 4 hours showing you three touches. So it's rejected. So yeah, I mean, that was the play when it went down to take some profit. But also, if you are trailing a stop loss, then that's going to guarantee some profits as well. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's always a bit of a difficult one, I guess. But as long as you're making some profit, that's all anyone can ask for, really.
Well, even if it retraced to 790, I'd still in for a pretty good payday.
Well, let's see if it spikes up here to try and take out some stops, or if it just falls over again and drops. 71 seems to be an area of interest at the moment. 71 to 72, probably go up and test 72.
Yeah, I'm holding at that 70, 71.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, like I say, in terms of movement, it's been bearish, but now this could all change as of this afternoon with the US traders coming in. Pound's just making a nice rally up, which is what we said. There was somebody came in the group yesterday. I think it was a new guy, Ingram. He was saying he wants to. He was very like wanting to rush in short pound, didn't he, last night? He goes, "Oh, maybe I'll do it when the market's open Sunday evening."
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, but it's still. Right, so nothing more to be had on gold at the moment. It's not doing what you would want to see it do till it turns bearish again. It's really stretching itself up.
I took a fib on the euro yen, just small lots.
Yeah.
Get excited by from about. I took the fib from 124,300,
Okay.
and it has actually retraced to the 38.50, which triggered my buys.
Well, which one? Sorry, the yen.
Euro yen.
Oh, euro yen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, euro yen's been quite it's been quite nice, bullish, but it's been working alongside the dollar yen, right?
Um, let's do.
Okay, here we need to see if this gold is going to do something. That 72 area, or if it's just going to keep going up.
Yeah, it's almost identical with although the dollar's retraced a lot more. Almost 100% retracement from that move.
I do expect today to be this sort of price action, to see this sort of price action. Okay, so this is just going up. Gold is just going up. I don't know where it's going to stop. Maybe it'll stop at 74. Maybe it'll just keep going to 83. I think it would need you'd need to see some sort of stalling. 30 minutes to the close of the 4 hour. Okay. Is anyone trading anything else? Anything going on today, or done much today?
No, haven't done too. I think I tried to short Euro USD, but I went in profit for a little bit. Then I saw she was going to retrace, so I could see she wasn't ready, so I just exited.
Yeah, still pushing, isn't it? Still looking to try and get up to maybe 120, 121. Okay, let's tidy this all up a little bit. So we've gone up, we've gone down. Let's get rid of that now.
Still hesitating, isn't it?
What's that? What, gold? Yeah, I don't know now. This becomes a little bit messy. In terms of a retracement, we could get all the way back up to 80, 79. You know, it could just go all the way up there and then just be range bound, chop around, and then drop back down again later. In terms of retracement, so just have to watch this retracement as it's going up, and then if it finds some resistance and starts dropping back, then maybe it will give you something. But yeah, I just thought a really nice wash and rinse kind of move down to 60, 64, 65. We had a strong push when it broke 70. So it did like a 60 pips stab down, which you can see on the smaller time frames.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the move. Anything else with gold is just a bonus, really, or just extra. So
There was one earlier in the day that looked really likely. did move down a bit then from 83 down.
Yeah.
That was massive.
Let's get this over here. Let's have a look. Let's see if we get another little stab down and what sort of a move down we get on gold if we get anything.
You're still showing bearish on the 1 hour there on gold.
There's been a lot of buying that's just come in on gold though. It's been, you see all the profit that's been taken, and it's just gone up off that third retest. So 65 might be the key right now. Might be the area where it finds the support. And let's have a look on the larger. Where is it? Okay, let's have a look at this. So here, so yeah, that's quite clean. If we go on a weekly, what do we see on a weekly? We see, I think somebody stabbed down here, shared a chart the other day, over the weekend in fact, on gold. I think they used this last swing low, which was quite pronounced to the downside, around 1450, and they used that, and then they used this high. So we have 64, we have a nice 50%, which makes sense. So that's why we're seeing some strong support using that last range, the last major swing low. Okay, we've just had a massive spike down on the Dow. Wow, that's nice. Okay, let's see what's going on with the Dow. Why is the Dow doing that? Okay, that's just giving some nice pips, some nice movement. Yeah, just how many minutes? 11 minutes on a 15-minute chart. That's way too much, too long to be waiting for this to decide. All the while the Dow is making a really nice, decent sell-off. And why is that? What news have we got out?
It's not even a weird time. It's 10:34 or 11:34.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been looking for this move down. I have been looking at it and looking for it. So yeah, it's just, it's done it now to 80 area, which was great. That's a 38.2. Will it just continue to go down? Possibly. That was a good move. I think to gold will either break long here or fail and drop back down. So if it breaks long, I think it could start suggesting that it's bullish and start changing sentiment. But appreciate the higher time frames are going to well, they're still bearish, aren't they, for now? But in terms of exhaustion, wow. Dow Jones, really nice move.
Did you take the move?
I just scalped it because I wasn't ready for it. I just saw it and I thought I'd just jump on that a little bit. Took a little position down to 700, and it's at 670 area now. I thought at least tap the round number. I was looking for the round number to be tested this morning, and it was just sitting sideways. So I kind of moved over to just look at gold for a little bit of fun, and
Yeah, the Nasdaq's following suit.
$650. Okay.
You don't see any news?
No, I don't really know. So again, just take it all with a pinch of salt. To be fair. Right, what's gold doing? It's thinking. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about doing an explosion to the upside, or will it just fall over?
I thought it was going to do that in up on the previous one, then it's hit the 770, 783, 4, whatever it was, 85, and then just turned green.
Yeah. Good. So come on, Adele. Give us a proper move down. Oh, spike up on pound pairs. Everything's coming to life a little bit now. So if I see strength on the pound, I'd like to see gold weak again. To be fair. It's the last day of the month, so I do expect price action to become a little bit choppy, perhaps. I think pound dollar's looking for 134 now, isn't it? It's going up and it's broken 133.50 area, and it's trying to make a move to the upside. Got a bit of pressure building on gold. It's just sitting there. Will it fail? Will we see further downside on the Dow? It's all just messing about at the minute. Right, so 84, so 700, so we want like 20 pips or so, 20. Let's see, where can we get some downside on the Dow? The Dow's trying to go down. Let's see if it does actually go down or if it's just a pullback and then it has another go to the upside. If it can break below 80, I think we can get a nice move down to maybe 650, 620, 580 area. Yeah, okay. If not, then don't worry about it. It's just more chop and messing about. So it needs to break 80 really.
I'm looking at the bids on the 1 hour chart of the Dow.
Oh yeah.
From the highest point there on at, well, at the top, 30,000. 10,000, which retraced nicely to almost to the 50%.
Yeah.
A couple of good entries there.
Yeah, I got that on my smaller time frames, like a 5 minute. I can see, where's your 50%? Around 765, 29,765 area.
770.
Yeah, about there. That'll do. So yeah, so it's done a 50% retrace, and then we've had this spike down off that area, which is understandable. Just seeing now if we have further downside. All the while, gold is just worming its way up. Still, it's continuing to push, and I'm not seeing it fail yet, if at all. Because like powerful support holding, so you can see there are buyers that have stepped in on gold, and the start of the US session as well. People are coming in now. It's what is it? 6:43 US New York time. 6:43 in the morning. So yeah.
When was New York open with Forex?
Say that again.
When does the Forex market open in New York?
For it? Oh, you mean like the stock markets, the indices, like the Dow and the stock price and cash price, share prices, is 2:30 London time, 9:30 New York time. So we've still got 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45 minutes. Yeah, two.
It's 1:30 in the morning, yeah.
Right.
That's why I don't get any sleep.
Yeah, I can imagine. When I was there and I was trading from there, it was the same. I found the time zones were too much. I think working out of somewhere like Asia is a bit better. Australia was just always getting up at about 11 o'clock in the morning and going to bed maybe at 3 or 4 sometimes. So I couldn't do that every day. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a life. It just wasn't viable really. The weekends just end up being a bit of a washout because you just end up wanting to do not much.
It's not bad if you can trade the London Open
Yeah.
for you get in and out within a couple of hours, you know, say the clock at the evening, you just shit when you haven't really done anything all day.
Yeah, yeah. It's good if you can just time your entries and wait for a setup and try and risk maybe 0.5%, 1%, and just try and make 1-2%. Do a 1 to 2 risk to reward, and if you can do that several times a week, and of course take into account that you're going to have some losing days and drawdown, but then there's going to be a bread and butter day where it's just a really good day for trading and money's there to be made, and you may even just end up being a little bit more aggressive because you're taking multiple setups and maybe bag 5-6%, you know, in a good day. So you just have to kind of be patient, sit in your hands for 50% at a time, if not more. That's what they say, isn't it? Sit in your hands. If traders sat in their hands for 50% more, or just sat in their hands more, they would be more profitable. Okay, so the Dow has made that little spike down, and then it's holding. It looks like it wants to go back up. Gold is coming off that pullback, and there's a lot of selling pressure here at this level on my 15-minute chart with gold. So we'll see if that does want to break down here. I think it would need to break 72, break 72 for another little go to the downside for little shorts. Let's have a look at that. But yeah, note that it has hit 64 and tested it 3 times, strong support, and it has bounced off that, and it has acknowledged it and recognises it, and that's based on that last swing low down at 1454. And that was when we had the hedge funds, some of the hedge funds cashing out their positions, because this was at the start of that COVID crisis at the start of the year back in March, and we had the stock market was crashing, and so people thought gold was going to go long and be a safe haven hedge. But of course, that, you know, some of these hedge funds, they had to liquidate their positions in gold, and that's what happened there, because they had to balance their books, and that was where they actually had some profit. You know, sustaining these massive losses and wiping out millions and billions off their books. It's like, right, well, we may as well liquidate here to try and stay afloat, and that's what caused that move down. But then you can see it was an opportunity to buy it back up. So yeah, so we'll acknowledge that, and this is on a weekly chart. So we just say, okay, that there, so that there, last swing low to last swing high, 50% pullback halfway is around 64, and then when you look at it, it's just testing that area quite nicely. So yeah, yeah, strong support. Okay, so last day of the month, expect it all to be a bit of a mess. And the Dow did the spike down and is just yo-yoing back up. It's quite funny. Excuse me.
Also pretty much knows that recovery is coming. And now it's getting aggressively high. You know, when he has that.
Yeah. So is anybody else doing anything today? Are you guys in anything, in any trades, or just you're holding gold to infinity and beyond? That's cool. You're looking for a 1 to a squillion risk to reward. That's understandable. Yeah. Wow, that's solid support there at the moment. Solid resistance. 72.8. It's just sideways. It seems to be hitting a bit of resistance. So clearly, if it breaks above that 73 and starts pushing above, then yeah, I think, you know, buyers will be coming in quite strong. And the Dow's just been a bit of a no trading zone at the moment. It's done the move down, and then it's just retraced all the way back up. So I think wait for the US Open to see what they do at 2:30.
Yeah, tends to do that when it first opens up. Like I'll make a little impulsive move and then correct.
Yeah. It was good to trade during the summer. It was great. You could trade the last hour or so of the US close, come in and always get some decent moves. You could trade the Open. You could trade the London Open. You know, there were two or three key times in the day where you could just come in and trade it and make some money, and you wouldn't necessarily have to trade all three sessions.
Hmm.
Even the European close gave some volume and some movement. It was quite nice as well. About 4:30, yeah, London time. Yeah, it was good, and then it kind of just fizzled out, sort of come September into October. But there were still some good moves. But I think as we started the run up to the elections, um, yeah, I think this month we'll see. We may get some price action, decent movement for the first for the first week or two.
How will Tesla being added to S&P affect it?
Don't know, to be fair, because
Do you ever
it's
trade UK 100?
yeah, trade the FTSE. I do like the indices.
Mm.
I look at the FTSE. I like that as an indice. I like the Dow Jones as an indices. I mean, you could all if you haven't got a large account, maybe go with something a bit more tame. Might be something like the
Yeah, yeah,
S&P. But then, if you're trading the indices, a good idea would be to pull up the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P, have two or three indices up at once, and just watch them and see how they're correlating, see how they move together, and that will help. So, and then just pick one that you don't need to have massive leverage. And I think the Dow's not one to trade. People love all that volatility, but I think as a new trader, or if you have limited funds, that's not the one to go anywhere near, because that just, yeah, that can just move.
yeah. Normally, when I see things on the Dow, I tend to go to Nasdaq and trade that instead.
Yeah, see, that's cool. And the Nasdaq can really move as well. I mean, I've seen that go quite hard over the last few weeks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trade the Nasdaq a lot.
The DAX is a good one as well. German DAX.
Yeah, yeah. I do like that. Can be aggressive, but I like it.
Right. So, is what's gold doing? It's trying to go down, curling over. So we'll just monitor this move back. Will it be able to get down to, I don't know, maybe a 69.7? So maybe a 70. Can it come and tap 70, and then see if it wants to do 70 on this little range. Well, it's a little range. It's quite a nice range, isn't it? From about 64, let's say 65 to 72. It's about 70, over 70 pips. Nice 70 pip pullback. So, maybe a nice little 38.2 or 50% pullback down to about 69, 70 area. That would be nice. And then I don't know what it will do after that. Will it just go all the way back down again, or will it find some structure and slowly start building some momentum to the upside? Or will we see a full 76.4 pullback all the way down to about 66 again on gold before it decides to have another go to the upside? Yeah, I mean, Trend's your friend, so you've got to go with the notion that these are pullbacks and you short the pullbacks for now until such time that it breaks structure and changes sentiment. And then appreciate that you can only do that a number of times before it then does change sentiment. So you can short it once and get away with it again and maybe go in again. And how many times do you get to short it? How long does it stay bearish before it decides that the liquidity's dried up, all the sellers have come in, they've left, they've taken their profit, and you're still there trying to short it, and you end up over trading, which is common, isn't it? So yeah, just have to be mindful. If you miss the first one and it gives you a second one, opportunity wise, and you take that, great. Then still keep holding out for the third and fourth and fifth opportunity. You've got to appreciate that any move is subject to a certain amount of time before it's done, it's exhausted. So yeah, this is gold is not anywhere I'd like to be trading from really at the moment. It's kind of just sitting there in no man's land. I'm watching the retracement up using a 5 minute and a 15 minute and taking that last swing high, which was 83.9, and we've retraced 38.2 of that so far. So we're sitting on top of the 38 as opposed to below it. So 72 is just a marker at the moment. So a spike up, we start going bullish. A break below them, there might be another little sneaky opportunity to nick a few shorts on this. So we've had a move down, we've had a little pullback at the retest. So will this drop now, make another low? As for the stock markets, well, they were bullish at the open this morning. They literally spiked up at the open and rallied, and so they're still showing some bullish bias. And we've had a bit of a correction down, and that's all that is at the minute. So, but that's not clear. Pound pairs remain bullish, like the pound dollar remains bullish, still looking for that 135, and that's on the premise that the Brexit that a Brexit agreement will be finalised. I think they're just trying to hash out some bits and pieces to do with the fishermen, like where everyone can fish. I think Europe want to be able to come and fish in the North Sea in the British waters, but England are sort of saying, well, no, because that's us, that's ours, and you can't. So they're not really budging on that, but who knows what will be agreed. But generally speaking, they are drawing to a deadline, and so the pound is optimistic, and it's pushing up on the premise that an agreement will be made. And so I'm not keen on taking any shorts. And like I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, just look at pound pairs by the dip. Each time it goes down, you'll see profit taken and spike back up again. Because you've got to look at the fundamentals. A lot of it is common sense. Trading is common sense. You gotta appreciate what's going on in the world and make sense of it. And that's why we shorted gold, wasn't it? Because they said, we have some vaccines that work. Oh, if the Dow wants to go up, I'm kind of looking for a bit of correlation with gold wanting to go down, but yeah, nothing's clear. It's all a bit of a mess. Hey Benita. Hey Brad. How you doing? Hello David. How are you? Jeff's in the house. Morgan's here. Nathaniel. Hello. Reaper Pips. Hey Joe. Oh, here we go. Bit of a nudge down. Okay, that's nice. Just look at it. What a mess. I mean, that's just, yeah, that's understandable. That's what we're going to be expecting with the price action. I think as we go into the US traders. What's triggered?
So I say it was trickiness.
Ah, right, yeah. Crazy price action. But that's the noise that you expect to see sometimes when you look at smaller time frames like a 5 minute and a 1 minute. I don't use them. I use them for reference. I use them to gauge, the range, to get a feel for the markets. And when you look at price action like that, just chopping about, it kind of tells you all you need to know, and you sort of say, okay, fine, I'm not interested. So what do you guys think? Does anyone have any input or have any questions? Does anyone want to type any questions? Anyone want to chuck anything out there? Any charts? Anything that they're looking at and they want to talk about? It's nice when we have a group of traders discuss amongst ourselves. Okay, so that Dow is just trying to go up. So if, the fact that it's just trying to go up, are we going to then see a bit of a move down on gold?
Hey Alex, is it fair to say if equities are bullish, gold is the opposite?
Sorry, what was that? If what?
If equities are bullish,
Yeah.
Gold is the opposite?
Yeah, not necessarily, but you see, with we did have that we did have it, didn't we, during the vaccine announcement over the last month. The Mondays that we had where they announced vaccine was good, and so we had a nice rally on the Dow, for example, to 30,000, and we had a nice sell-off from 1960 on gold, and that went down to 1850 to test the previous low, which led me to think, well, 1850 is going to be tested again. If it does, we'll probably break it this time. And so there was that. So far today, we're not. We had that move down on gold, and that's it. They shouldn't be trading anymore, looking for anything on gold or the Dow, unless it's on those pairs anyway, on those instruments. So I was wondering what everyone else is doing. Are you buying? Pound's nice. Look, pound yen's been really nice and smooth. Down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit more. David's listening on the slide. Oh, that's okay. You guys can say as much or as little as possible. You do what you like. It's fine. It's today's just one of those days where Well, for the last few weeks, it's been a case of let's just do some educational stuff. Let's look at other aspects of trading. Like I've been saying over the last few weeks, that the traders, new traders in particular, they get it wrong that they spend 80% of their time trading, maybe 20% doing a bit of back testing, personal development, and it should be the other way around. You should be doing a lot of back testing, a lot of psychological bits and pieces to get yourself in a good frame of mind, making sure that your strategy and your trade plan work for you and make you feel comfortable when you're trading. And so that will take up the majority of your time, and then you just come in and apply it, and it doesn't take anything to apply what you've been testing in terms of a trade or strategy. That's a case of putting some support and resistance on your chart, if that's what you use, and putting a trade on, which takes seconds, doesn't it? It's not, yeah. So if you spend most of your time just putting trades on, it means you're just over trading, and you're not gonna necessarily learn a great deal.
How would you say, like, past December's when it has been?
Sorry, what was that?
Like, how do Decembers normally go for you, trading wise? Like,
They're
the
okay.
market still like move? Or...
They're okay. I would look to see what was going on and what is going on now over the next few weeks as we approach Christmas, and then when the kids finish school for the holidays, then that's when we kind of just take a step back and chill out for a bit.
Yeah.
I remember 2018, we had a nice rally. Christmas Day, everything bottomed on, like, the Dow Jones, for example. And from there, if you look at it at Christmas Day, we were in a bit of a downtrend. We sold off, and everything just took off on there. It found the bottom and rallied. And gold last year was a really nice. We were long. Some of the guys I trade with, from about 13 from about 13 something, 1350 or so. It was about 13. Was it? Yeah, about 1300, and it was a 1300 pip move that we took. Wow, look at that on the Dow. So it just faked to the downside. It
Whoa.
tested 680, which is what we said, and then said it needed to break 680 for it to go down, and it didn't. So it found support and just went up.
How many pips did you say, Alex?
For what? Oh, 1300 pips. That was last year. That was last year on gold. This time last year. Right, so everything is just bullish. I think gold as well. It wants to have a go to the upside, doesn't it? Is it going to pop up here, break up? Or is it going to fail? Nice moves. Boom, 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 boom. Luca Master Forex.
You know,
Yeah, you're a funny guy.
Luca Master Forex in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got potential for gold to carry on higher, to break up. It's just poised to actually make a little spike up. Is it going to break 73? It's got a bit of support there.
I've made my trading journal
Good.
today.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
Yeah.
Chuck it across.
Psychological journal as well. And currency watch list. You know?
Yeah.
For example, like today, I may take this trade or that trade, and I put this information on the watch list.
Yep. I think if we go with gold and look at that in terms of simplicity, I'd say if it holds here and finds resistance here around 73, stops to be considered just above, say 73, above 74 maybe, and then short back down again for another little curl back to the downside. But like I've just said, it has had a good go over the last week or so to the downside, and we had this big old sell-off on Friday. Yeah, Benita, it's yeah, we try and help. The problem with all the FTMO traders is that they rush, and they don't realise they're rushing. Just keep back testing, keep trying things out, see how you like to trade, find a rhythm that suits you, find a style, a strategy, understand what sort of personality you are and what type of trading suits you, whether you're a swing trader, day trader, scalper, and just take your time. And there are a lot of traders that are, trading for 4 months, 6 months, etc., and then they take this challenge, and I would say if somebody was trading for 6 years and they took this challenge, I wouldn't even question it. I'd be like, okay, cool, good luck to you. But 6 months for me is like 6 minutes in these markets. Well, so then to try and take a challenge, I would use their trial challenges first and just keep doing one of them. Maybe do like 6 of them, or have a plan. So I'll do 10 of these and see what my results are. So if it's 10 out of 10, 100% success. If it's 4 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, it's 40% or 70% hit rate success, and do that and get a real comfortable feel for what you're looking to do. Because we were having this conversation yesterday about FTMO and other prop firms, and I said to everyone, go out there and find a trader who's trading prop firm money and who has been doing so for at least 6 to 12 months. Because all I see are people posting YouTube videos about how they passed the challenge in 3 days, and things like that, and it gives you a false sense of security. Because
Blow their account.
well, yeah, if you have a bit of luck and a bit of good fortune as well, and things work out and you end up passing, that's great, brilliant. Because 10% is a tall order for 30 days for 1 month. It's not realistic. They're really pushing you to really test you. And seeing how you trade under pressure. It's deliberate, isn't it? But then that's not the challenge. That's not the the real hurdle. That's nothing. Passing the first stage and the verification, that's great. But then, are you able to trade for the next 3 to 6 months consistently and build up some profit? I hear people passing, and in the first month they come in to trade with their live account. They lose, they blow it, and that's it. There's no second chance. That's it. They're done. Which is quite sad, really, because they do all that work, and that can be quite demotivating. Or people can say, right, I'm going to try harder next time and maybe have another go. But then, how many attempts before you get it right, and how much will you spend? One of the guys said that he spent. I'll tell you how much this guy spent. Where is it? Somebody sent me some messages asking for a bit of help. Yeah.
Do you have a weekly drawdown limit?
Weekly drawdown limit.
Yeah.
Not really. No, 5% really, as an idea, as a benchmark. That always just springs to mind. If you say you're risking 1% a day, 5% a week. But then I'll try and do 0.5% trades for 1% rewards as a benchmark. And then, as I say, obviously when we get better days and there's money to be made, maybe you can make more from it. Where's this? Let me just see what this guy said. He spent He spent over £150,000 sterling so far. Bloody expensive learning, he said. But will be worth it, he says. He's adamant. Next year is my year, Rodney. So just a trader who's invested not necessarily just with FTMO. He's done FTMO, but I think just his trading journey has cost him that much in terms of trading and wanting to become a consistent trader, and I think that's
This is nothing.
it's enough. It's enough. That's quite sad, really, but
Do you
he's
usually
not.
go to
Yeah.
traders events, Alex?
Oh, I did do years ago. I used to, but no, not really, not anymore.
You think it's worth?
Yeah, why not? Go and have a look. Depends what kind of expo, what kind of exhibition, what kind of event it is. If it's
London
just
trader show.
yeah, so they will have a lot of brokers and a lot of people trying to promote their platform. So unless you've been invited by your broker who are then going to be wanting to treat you to a day out for whatever that involves, I don't know really. I've met
About
up.
networking.
What's that?
Networking. Like,
Networking. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, with
yes,
people.
it's up to you. Okay, come on, gold. So the Dow is retesting the high. So gold has found that resistance, and will it drop down to about 70 at least? The Dow has just made a new high, and we are seeing pound yen retest today's high. So stops at 73 on gold, maybe, and just see if it curls over.
Nasdaq's going crazy after that big drop. Could have been just a stock company. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no.
It's the last day of the month, so yeah, I mean, just expect it to be a little bit choppy. Last day of the month, but also we've just had Thanksgiving. It's been a long holiday weekend break, and yeah, for America, it's just don't expect everything to always move how you want it to, and factor in what has already happened. And
You are in the wrong business if you think that you're gonna win every time.
yeah, unless you're the market, then yeah, you should, there's just one of those things,
Oh,
isn't it?
George Soros.
Yeah, I was watching a video yesterday on. I was watching a YouTube vid last night on.
The man who broke the Bank of England.
Yeah, I was watching James Simons, a professor of maths professor.
I saw that video too.
Yeah, and he has just he managed to with his colleagues from his early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, started trading, looked at formulas and applying maths to trading, and then over the next 10 years, as he approached, went into his 50s, he became the most successful up till now. Has been the most successful trader of
Do you know, Alex? Do you know how he
of our time, really.
broke the Bank of England?
Who? That's George Soros.
Yeah, but do you know how?
Yeah,
He did
yeah,
it.
he did because he's a trader, and he was trading against politicians who, you know, who have no
British pound.
business. Yeah, so they because the British pound and it was all controlled not by the Bank of England. They didn't have control then. It was controlled by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and I think John Major was the Prime Minister, and I can't remember who the Chancellor was. Anyone remember? Google it for
I
five
don't remember the
for
names.
10 points.
I'm very bad with names.
I think maybe Norman Lamont rings a bell for some reason.
I mean, I think that
Okay, here we go. So we're getting a
that's
bit
my
of a nudge down on gold. So I think here we go. Yeah, but in terms of what sort of move, just
the
don't get too
European
excited.
Union
That's
monetary policy was going to change or something like this, and George Soros bet against British pound.
yeah, but he could, and plus back then, they had traders had more control and autonomy over their money that they could put towards, put into a trade as well. They didn't have certain caps and certain limits. What followed after that were traders trying to do that, and they ended up bringing down their banks because they'd leveraged far too much. Um,
Yeah, like
but
crazy. I read that.
but back
He said
then
that he
he had,
leveraged like
yeah,
100 times.
he did. He was leveraged up, and it was go for broke. So it was more a case of who would buckle first. It was like a game of chicken. You're both driving a train towards each other or bus towards each other, and like who would swerve first. And obviously, the trader with a bit more balls actually did it.
Yeah.
Interesting, Alex, in the interview that I
There we
saw
go.
with
So
him,
that's all good.
he called it the trade of a lifetime.
Yeah, because he went for it and he did it, and I mean he wouldn't be able to do that now. And
Interesting, though, his comment was that, and I'd have to find the interview again, but one thing that stood out to me was that even at that level, he said he was only risking 1 or 2%.
yeah, 1 or 2%, really, 1 or 2% of the bank's
No,
money, or 1 or 2% of his pot. Because if it's 1 or 2% of the bank's money, then you're talking billions. But or whatever the pot was, it was huge. I know that he had a lot riding on it, and he pushed and pushed, and every time they tried to push again, like pump more money, more stimulus, he just thought, "Thank you very much. You're providing me more liquidity, so I will short some more." And he kept pushing, and they just kept seeing that the pound wasn't going up. It just wasn't, it wasn't going in their favour. So
107.
they said, you know what, we need to cut this, otherwise it's gonna start costing
Actually,
taxpayers money. But then after that, they passed it over. They gave control to the Bank of England. Bank of England took over again, and but yeah, short on gold, that was all right, wasn't it? Found that resistance 73 and just come down to 70, 69, 68. Will it stall at 68 or will it get down to 66? That was a nice little move. So it did give you another opportunity, and the Dow Jones is making a nice bullish move up to first bit of resistance at around 800, 29,800. See what it does around that area, and see what gold does when it comes down and tests this area. Maybe find some support around 68, because it's done a 50% pullback halfway. On the news, 94% efficiency final results. Oh yeah, when did that come out? Oh, here we go. Yeah, 12:20. To request clearance for its coronavirus vaccine in the US and Europe on Monday. Okay. Bloomberg, you can check Bloomberg. They've got that news report that's just come out. I don't know who else has got it, but that's cool.
but I
Nice,
think
nice one,
you gotta
Steve.
sign right for membership.
Membership for what?
Some news you can access some news.
Well, no, all this news, all you do is, so we've spoken about this, you get something called Tweet Desk or Tweet Deck,
Mm.
and you can have it as a desktop application, like an app, on your computer, on your laptop, and you can then add who you want in that, in terms of where you want to get your tweets from, who you want to follow. So you can then add people like Bloomberg, CNBC, Reuters, Forex Live, City AM. There's a number of them that you can then add, and so you will only receive tweets from those, but it all comes under one. So then that way you're getting it all come up. Live Squawk is also a good one. Yeah, which others? Yeah, Reuters Business. You got Bloomberg Economics, Trading Floor Audio. These are the ones that I've got subscribed to mine. Daily FX, Team Live. A few individuals as well who are analysts. Yeah, just
Me.
yeah, I got no choice with that one, unfortunately.
That's my coaching from you guys as well.
Yeah, so yeah, stuff like that. So then you have it all coming under one feed, and then when stuff happens, at least you can see when you see a sudden spike or sudden bit of volume in the market. You know, you'll always get these traders out there going, "Why is that then? What happened?" It's like, well, if you don't know, and if you're not tuned into what's going on, you shouldn't be trading. You know, people are trying to trade everything off their laptop. You know, you've got one screen, and it's great. Laptop's like your phone. It's great if you're just going to use it to monitor a trade that you're in, perhaps. It's okay.
You can't work with that.
I don't know. I just think you limit yourself a little bit. I see now traders have got these nice fancy curved screens, which are quite wide, quite long, widescreen. So they're able to house multiple charts and news and bits and pieces, and then they may have a laptop alongside it. You know, stuff like that. Yeah, it just depends how you want to do it, really. This is me showing you what I have normally on the side of my, on the side on my other screen, showing you all the time frames, multiple pairs that I look at, or multiple instruments. So you can see like pound yen, it's got a nice bullish bias, it's come down, it's made a triple bottom, it's tested the lows and has rejected, and today's daily candle is bullish, and so to go back up to test maybe 140 could be the play for pound yen. But then that just ties in nicely with the hypothesis that I keep saying, buy the dips when it comes to like pound dollar, pound yen, buy the dips. Every time it goes down, buy them back up. So that's quite nice. And there you could have had a nice buy from the lows off that 76.4 area around 138.50. That's been working well. Intraday moves, and then hold for the bigger move. Yeah, what else is there? That's it really. We've had some great moves. So pound gold is still trying to go down and retest the lows. I want short gold here though. I want who's shorting gold here? Crazy people.
Money is out.
If you're banking profits, nice. If you're trying to take a trade here, like you couldn't go long on the Dow here. Could you short it? Couldn't short it either because it's just bullish so far today. At the moment, wait until the US traders come in. Gold has made its first move up, and then it's pulled back 50%. Let's see if it can stretch down a little more, maybe to the 618 or 76.4, which would be the low would be, what did we say it was? I plotted it on a smaller time frame. 66, I think, somewhere like that. I've got a lot of things running, everything's running a little bit slow. 67 for good measure, about 67, 66.7, so about 67. So maybe another 20 pips to the downside, but doesn't have to. And if we're saying that gold has exhausted itself to the downside and maybe wants to be a bit bullish, then don't be surprised if it finds some structural support here and has another go to the upside. So, yeah, so things start getting a little bit choppy and a little bit sideways, and so the high probability setups are no longer at the moment. So if you were to shorted gold, you could have shorted it when it was sitting at 72, somewhere like that, with stops above 73, which we sort of highlighted, but yeah. The trades to short in gold should have been last week before, when we were shorting at 1875. And with those trades, my first target was down at 1870, and I got stopped out at break even on 3 of my positions. I scaled in with 4 positions, risking. I think I had about what did I have on? I think it was I've written it down. I had about 1%. I think it was just broken down into multiple positions. I got stopped out at break even on 3 of those positions. One didn't hit the stop, and that went down, and that hit my T1. No, one of them went down, hit my T1, and then because it stopped me out, I scaled in again, still looking for the break, and that didn't happen until Monday. That was Friday, looking for something over the weekend, like these pharmaceuticals to announce something more positive news to do with the vaccine. So I was hedging on the prospect, speculating that gold may gap down over the weekend. But it didn't happen. But then at 2:45, 15 minutes into the US session on Monday, it sold off, and so we were on that, and I took lots of profit on the way down, and then I had one position left open at 34, I think it was, set 1834, and I just kept that open, didn't I, to 1800. But I said 17. Well, I don't know now. To be fair, it's the last day of the month. It's done what I wanted. It's exceeded expectations. It's been really good to make some money and to take some profit, and to have had an exceptional month because of fundamental circumstances. It's like hats off to COVID. Thank you very much, COVID, for presenting an opportunity. With these kind of news events, they call these black swan events, don't they? They call them events that are not scheduled. No one knows about these things.
Yeah, we make money anyway.
There's money to be made, yeah, because it creates volatility and volume. So with the good news with the vaccine, we had stock markets went up, so that was a no-brainer. Just taking loads of longs on the Dow over a period of a week or two, and until it got to 30,000, and just kept shorting gold. Really, they were my 2 main plays. And the last week, I finished the week before, and I did say to you that I'm not going to do anything else for the month. I'm done for the month. We're halfway through the month. I'm done. But I will look at gold. I'll reserve the right to short gold, because I think it may break that 1850 area. So if it does, I want to be in on that. So I had a trade plan ready for that, and we did. We made money. So that's how we ended up having such a great, strong month, the best month this year, because of these events. Wow, see that on the pound? And this is what you come to expect with the pound. It's a bit of chop. Now the US traders are slowly coming in. It's like they walk into the office, and the first thing they do is they turn the lights on, and then they press the on button on the algorithms, and the computers start up, and then they start, and it's almost like that. That's what it always reminds me of. And then these algorithms are like saying, okay, look, there's money to be had there. Let's spike it down and stop them out, and then spike back up again, and start messing about, clear out the stops before we go up, and it starts getting a bit choppy. Let's see, is there any news? Brexit news? Britain tells EU not to politicise financial market access. Interesting. Okay.
What about S&P 500?
Yeah, well, I don't really trade it. No, I no, not really. But it's a good one if you're not, if you don't have a large account and you want to trade the indices when there's some fundamental news, then that's a good one to trade, as opposed to the Dow, because the Dow can be quite strong. Okay, so gold. Gold reacting off that 50 area around 60, 69.
Hey Alex,
Yeah.
is the flip from the 5 minute chart the same? I mean, is it from another time frame or from the 5 minute time frame?
No, it's a 5 minute. For gold,
Yeah.
yeah, it's sort of 5 minutes. It's just taking into account that range. Today's range. Today's range is yeah. What's the highest? 80, 83.9. So about 84. And you know, we went up, didn't we? And we just sat nicely, neatly at that 38.2 of today's range. So we had a nice retracement, and now it's just
Hmm.
come off that curled over. So it was a case of seeing, would it break that area and continue up, and thought, well, if it did that, then not worrying about it. But like I said, sometimes you just overanalyze things, and it can be analysis paralysis. You just end up not taking a trade because you've overthought it. So you strip it right back and you say the trend is your friend,
Yeah.
and just short these moves back up. You know, every time it goes up, you short it. So that's what's
Look,
happened there. But like I
that's
said,
why I don't like indicators because I get confused.
well, I use fibs predominantly because I like to see where the range is, and also I need to kind of gauge where where the pullbacks are likely to happen. Where's it going to reverse to? Where's it going to pull back to in order for me to be able to get in and short
Yeah,
it?
but for example, we got MACD, moving average. For me, I mean, you are used to it, but
Yeah, yeah, each to their own.
I will get confused, you know?
Yeah, sure. That's okay. That's
I'm
why
back
you have your
testing like basically support and resistance, and that's it. I don't get
yeah.
confused. I take analysis like for 5 minutes, and I know where where the price is going to go, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Like my win rate is not that high, but I prefer this way because I don't get confused. Otherwise, if I put a lot of indicators, I would be analyzing like for 20 minutes because stochastics say that the price is gonna go down, and move average is saying that the price has just had a golden cross. So I don't know what to do, you know.
Well, that's it. You use indicators or you don't use indicators. People that do use indicators will often use them as part of their strategy. Will look for certain things, certain criteria that these indicators need to do. I think for anyone like Benita's asking about tips and pointers, and I think every trader will pretty much ask the same thing. You kind of have to test things out and maybe start with, what do you like to trade? What are your favourite pairs that you like to trade, or what instruments do you like to trade? And then take that, whether it's one pair, two pairs, three pairs, something like that. Not too many. One or two is enough, and then get your teeth into them. Start back testing them and forward test them as well. So, plan a trade and see how it plays out. So that's forward testing it. Back test
No,
it
yeah.
and identify the setup and think, okay, did it?
What is the difference? I mean, I place the trade and I wait for the. This is I backtest this way. I
Yeah,
place the trade, my positions, my TP, my stop loss, and I I forward test.
well,
I
yeah,
mean,
okay,
when
yeah.
people say backtest, I don't know what they really mean.
Well, no, exactly that. Exactly what you've just said. So you go back in time and you find a setup, and
Yeah.
you do that, don't you? You do that with TradingView. You rewind the chart so you cannot see how it played out. You rewind it, and and then you sort of say, okay, this looks good for a long or short, and then you put your trade on. You see how it pans out, how it plays out. That's fine. Forward testing is just looking at placing the trade right now, and seeing how it plays out. Where you haven't got any data, you don't know what's going to happen next,
Ah,
and then just making a note. And forward testing is just trading. It's trading now, but obviously not trading with a real account, or maybe not trading at all, demo account or not at all, and just
demo.
yeah, and just noting what you see and making a note. That's what should
Yeah,
be
and you can
taking the
kind of
time.
like paper trade as well.
Yeah, paper
Like
trade, so
simply
demo
say,
trading.
I would have entered here or something.
Yeah, exactly, and then and test it. So you should be doing that continuously, especially if you have only been trading for 3 months or 4 months or 5 6 months,
Six
or
months.
yeah, or whatever, and just that's where the work needs to come into it. And this is why we say 80% should be dedicated to doing that, and 20% should be
You
dedicated to
think I
taking a
should do
trade.
both, like, right? For testing and back testing, I should do both.
Yeah, most definitely. Because the forward testing, you get to see how your emotions are playing out, and you see, okay, maybe I could have got faked out here, or maybe I would have stayed in here, etc.
Okay, thank you, man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So once you've done all that, or you are doing that religiously, and you have a journal, and you're taking notes, and you're building up a good, true picture as to, well, how you trade and how is that working for you. Then you're ready to sort of take on some real money or take on a challenge. Um, Otherwise, you're just ill-equipped to pass the challenge unless you get lucky, which is which is not good, because then you think you're going to go on and just keep being lucky. That's not going to happen. So that, yeah, it's really hard though, isn't it, for any new trader to know when they're ready, because it's just, yeah, you just, there's so many things that you haven't maybe experienced or encountered, and it's just experience. Experience pays. 2 or 3 years is what you need, as with anything. Just again, this is where common sense comes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you give somebody the keys to your car if they've never driven before?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you give somebody the keys to your brand new Ferrari or Mercedes or something?
No way.
Would you give your children that car if they have
No
only
way.
just been driving for 6 months? Or would you say, here, I'll just buy a little cheap runaround and get something for £1,000, or some cheap car that doesn't matter if you scratch it, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's common sense. So apply the same common sense. This is what gets me. Common sense goes out the window. People just see the dollar, and they see the pound notes. They see the potential to make money and to be and life changing, and it can happen. Just take a breath. Slow down, steady on there. You're not 2 years old anymore. You're not a teenager. You're not like, okay, I've got to do this now. You know what I mean? It's not. If your children behave like that, you tell them. You provide that guidance. But there's no one to kind of pull you to one side and say, hang on, you're behaving like a bit of a teenager here. What are you doing? You want to throw some good money after bad, in the hope what, that you're suddenly gonna become a millionaire?
Yeah, my
You
mum
know.
told me something similar yesterday. It's like, it's good you're looking at the long picture, and you always need to keep that in mind. You need to look at
Yeah,
the
5 year
bigger
plan.
picture.
Try and get a 5 year plan. And again, it's quite daunting, isn't it? It's quite difficult. 5 year plan though. Where do you want to be in 5 years? And then so go year one. Year one is, okay, I'm going to keep back testing. I'm going to master this, and then by year two, maybe I'm going to put 10k into an account. Take year one to save some funds, rather than pay 150 quid, $150 to subscribe to an influencer online, to give them your money to follow them. Maybe put the 150 quid each month in your bank account, with the notion that you're going to put that into a trading pot at the end of the year. So you're playing the long game, and that requires a bit of patience. And we talk about this all the time, don't we? Because we live in a society where everything is on tap, everything is available, and the younger
Shorts of
generation.
pleasure.
Yeah, younger generation have never had it so good. This is we live in now a society where we can have pretty much everything. You can't do that with this business. You have to kind of take it slow and easy and treat it as a business. And you can appreciate that's common sense. if you was to start a restaurant business or start a business, think, okay, am I going to get rich in 2 months, or am I going to like work at this and build up a reputable company over the next 5 to 10 years, where I can actually then live off the fruits of my labour? You know what I mean. It's just one of those things. This is no different. This is no different. You can have some lucky wins, or we can have some crazy events in the world which cause markets to move favourably, and you can exploit those, which has happened this year. Sure, and that will give you an exceptional year, which is great. That will give you a bumper start, a good head start. So yeah, there is that opportunity to do that. So that's why we say then, sit on your hands and wait for those opportunities. Don't go chasing everything like a little puppy. Everything that moves, I'll be on that, and over trade. Take 10 trades in a day. It's like, well, why? If you are taking 10 trades, just back test, and maybe take those trades on a demo account, and stuff like that. So it's about a process. Trust the process. Appreciate that you're going to give this a good amount of time. People give up just before they reach that tipping point, just before it all just slots into place for them, and they make it work for them, because they give up after maybe 3 months or 6 months, because they've pushed so hard, and they just feel so demoralised because they just keep losing, and they're so tired, and it's yeah. Okay, gold breaking, trying to break, but it's
One question, Alex.
yeah.
You think that a person that has been um, trading for, I don't know, 10 months can be a consistent trader, like after this person passed the challenge, FTMO challenge? Do you think that
Yeah,
that is
yeah, yeah. Why not? Yeah, people can. You see, yeah, you see exactly. You see, Rob. I was just going to say that as well. Rob's kind of, he stuttered and he stalled, and he found some, um, you know, found some issues with it, or he couldn't get his head in the game, and then he just took a break, and he was watching what we were doing, and he was taking notes with everything that's been presented, and he's managed to kind of filter it all and take the good bits, and it's really helped him, and he's now found himself a strategy that works. Wow, look at that lovely move. Oh, incredible drop on gold. There we go, nice drop. Phew, that was alright, wasn't it? So it was just sitting at that 50% at 68.8, just sitting there, threatening to go up, and it didn't, because it didn't. So it's still bearish, and still just...
If it bounces off this again,
I don't think it's going to bounce. I think it might break through now. It might actually have a go. Let's see what it does. Let's see if we break and start dropping hard and getting down to like the 20s or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
oh, it's really nudging it, isn't it?
Yeah. This could be it. This could be...
Really, there's nothing happening, is it? It's not in there.
What's the time? 12:48. Well, yeah. I mean, that was the move anyway. That was... So Rob's provided some structure in how he trades. So he will scale into a position. So he might short gold, for example, but then he'll put a bit of a position on at a certain level, fib level. Then if it goes higher to the next fib, he'll put a bit more on. And then by the time it gets up to like 76.4, that's where he'll put the majority of his position on. So he'll risk maybe 1 to 2%. He does end up risking a decent amount, maybe, from what I've seen, the way he explained it. But then as it drops down, and as it gets down into a decent bit of profit, he starts closing those positions, reducing his risk, moving the stop loss, try and aim to bag 1 or 2%, and maybe leave something on.
Trying to reach it.
Yeah, I mean that was the move. That was a really nice move, wasn't it? That might be it now. Let's see, or is it going to just stay bearish? It's quite difficult. Expect it to chop around a little bit. What's the matter?
Seeing some sharks.
I'm just watching immediate price action just to see how it behaves on gold in particular. It's been quite nice the way it's moved. Are we gonna break the lows? It has remained bearish. We are now testing this low for a fourth consecutive time. That's quite important. Very time sensitive. Very time sensitive in terms of how many times it tests a certain area. A market can test an area 2-3 times. The third time's a charm. Generally, we'll look for the third time to break a certain level and drop. And in this case,
How many times?
3 times ideally. Now it's done it a fourth time, so we'll see. The more times it tests and rejects, then the stronger that support actually becomes. But if it breaks now on this fourth attempt, which it hasn't done at the moment, but we have 8 minutes on that 15-minute candle, so we'll watch that and watch the hour as well and see what the hour does. So watch like 15-minute and hourly and just see. It's the last day of the month. Bit of range bound price action's not a bad thing. Very bearish still on the daily. So I guess we could still look at these retracements and look at potentially shorting each time it goes up. See what sort of move it gives you. Very strong. See, a strong rejection. Maybe get a nice retracement up to 70. Where would that go? 69, 70, 73, and then it starts getting a bit tricky, doesn't it? That's the way it is. Bit choppy, bit tricky in terms of jumping in. What's that?
My neighbors, they are so loud, man.
Oh, is that your neighbour? Is it? Okay.
Oh my god.
Where are you located?
I can't wait of this fucking
where are
beauty.
you?
He's in Spain.
Spain.
Valencia.
Valencia. Whippa, whippa.
On a shit neighborhood.
But Spain, do you like Spain as a country? Is it okay? Not too bad.
Well,
What's the temperature?
if I like the people or
How hot is it? What's the temperature? What's the weather like today?
the weather 20 degrees.
Can't complain then, can you?
About the weather, no.
Don't need anything else then, do we?
Spanish people are pretty lazy. They like drinking beers like every day. They go to the bar and they drinking beers all day long.
Sounds great.
Hey, that's funny.
Yes, because they get government welfare,
Sounds great.
Sounds like socialism. So they do nothing all day long,
Perfect. Bit of wine and beer and tapas. Yeah.
You're joking, right? Alex?
Perfect. Hey, listen, it's I haven't had a holiday in ages. All right, anything like that sounds good to me. 20 degrees right now. Tapas, beer. I mean, what?
Take a holiday right now.
What's to?
Holiday day right now. You can take.
Yeah. We've just been in lockdown, lockdown,
I don't
lockdown,
bother
and
myself.
yeah.
We saw.
Okay, we're holding. Gold is holding, and you're dropping out in terms of sound and signal. Okay, so gold's found some support. It's back down. Maybe go up, and then maybe we can short it again later. Yeah, or maybe it'll put in a decent relief rally now. Yeah, so let's see.
Which feed level real level? How can I say this?
I don't know where it's going to go, how high it's going to pull back to. It's difficult. This is all just choppy price action. We're looking to see if it wants to break the lows, but it's what's the time? It's approaching 1 o'clock London time, so we still have 2 hours. Realistically, we still have an hour and a half to the US Open, and then we have maybe until 3 o'clock London time, which is 10 o'clock New York time. So we will see how gold.
About the helicopter.
The what? The helicopter?
Okay. Let's go.
Would anyone like to explore anything else or have any questions? Did anyone listen to the psychology session? The psychology, the podcast, 5 minutes, 5 minute wonder.
Can you pull? Can you pull
Yeah,
another pair?
for sure.
Can what?
Been listening to them.
Another pair.
Yeah, what pair?
Yeah, another pair.
Yeah, like what?
Besides.
I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change my charts unless you want to look at something specific. Otherwise, it's just wasting time or wasting
You
my.
just trade gold and GBP.
Well, I'm not trading GBP. I'm just watching the GBP pairs. I've got pound yen, which you can see to the left on my other screen. I have pound dollar, and then above I have gold. I'm not going to swap it over. It's doing the same thing. Pound yen and pound dollar are moving in exactly the same way. They spiked down and now they're retesting the low. But I'm asking you if you're actually trading something, because for me, just to swap and change for a bit of fun is not really productive for me.
I'm watching GBP cat.
Okay, so what do you want to see happen, or are you know what you thinking? I can have a look at pound cads.
How can I? Share my chart. Can I share it?
Let's have a look at pound yen. I'll pull up pound yen. Sorry, pound cad.
Yeah.
Pound CAD, pound dollar, pound yen, they're all moving in the same way at the moment, aren't they?
I'm waiting for the price to reach resistance zone.
Support or resistance?
Wait a second. Resistance.
Resistance, so resistance to the upside. So what resistance, what level?
It's
When-
better to show the picture instead of describing it.
Not really, I've got my chart up now on pound CADs. You said resistance.
You got it?
Yeah, I have, yeah. Talk to me, what you thinking?
30 minute time frame.
30 minutes, yeah, let's have a look at 30 minutes. So 30 minutes. Pound CAD 30 minutes. It's done a nice move to retest the lows. What would you like to
It's
see?
different from mine.
Oh yeah,
Yours is different.
yeah, okay. Yeah, 30 minutes. I don't know. Well, what is it you want to see happen?
Okay, go back. It's slightly different from mine. So can you see this resistance level?
No, I don't know what resistance level you're talking about. There's several resistance. Give me a number. We
What
need.
number are you looking at?
Lukey, you're just wasting time, mate. You're just wasting time. What is it you want to see? Because you're not telling us anything. You just sort of called pound CAD just for the fun of it. I thought
If I
you,
can show,
if
if
you've
I
got a
can show a
trade set
picture,
up, no, just give me what's your entry, what's your stop loss, what's your target, what is it you'd like to see happen
on the
on
top,
pound CAD?
resistance.
I
You see
don't,
the resistance on the top?
Like what number is your
yeah, where's your
resistance
resistance,
at?
mate?
Like
What
what
level?
price is it?
What level?
Okay.
On
Mm,
Should be asking what resistance can you
seven
see? You
three,
don't seem to be able to see no resistance. You just
7342, 1777342.
see, now you're talking.
so this one here,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
this one here, yeah.
Yeah, this resistance.
Okay, it's about 48. Yeah, what about it?
We support now. It is resistance. You know.
Right. So that move's played out nicely, hasn't it? It's played out. It's done the move.
Yeah, that was a nice sell with my EMA. I had a couple EMAs there. That would have been a nice sell-off if you
Do
got
you
that
understand
into.
now, Alex? Don't need to get mad.
No, I understand, but what is it? You
It's just you
you
just need to like say exactly what you're looking at. It's
you
not
just want
like
to have a
you just
look
need
at
to say,
it,
oh,
and
yeah,
I thought you might say to me that
Okay,
you
now do
wanted
you see
to put a
the
trade on.
resistance?
Yeah, I see that resistance, but
Now it will shoot
yeah.
to the upside because we got the last candle. It is showing rejection with the wick.
yes, that's
So
a rejected. Are you talking
But
about where it's
I
at
gotta
right
say
now?
a bull candle now
all right. So you're
to
looking for.
confirm the rejection.
So you're thinking that if it holds at around 172.60, you would like
Yeah,
to see about taking it long to 173.40
yeah, yes, sir.
for a bullish move. Okay.
Yeah, but I gotta see a bull candle right now.
Right. Okay.
I gotta see a bull candle because it can break to the downside. We don't know, you
I
know.
think the problem is that the last few days has been
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I think we'll start looking at the higher time frames and see what they're saying as well. And obviously look at pounds as a whole. Look at the pound pairs. Meanwhile, so we've had a nice rejection for a fourth time on gold. I think now it may decide that it wants to be bullish and go long.
Mhm.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so let's keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens on pound CAD, see if it finds some support and goes back up. And see
What
if
do you
you're,
think?
yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I think, looking for bullish price action. Yeah, let's see
Would
how
you go
it's.
long or
Um,
short?
I'm not trading the pound pairs at the moment because I'm waiting for Brexit news.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, gold is just pushed up strong. There's a strong move. Yeah, so pound pairs remain quite bearish. Quite range bound. I am more biased to taking them long than short, but don't know really. We'll see how they play out. Wow, this is
Mm.
crazy price action. Good, that's good. I like it. There's a rejection.
Yeah, for gold, I had it's at for my fib levels. It's reacting to like this 88.6 level.
Okay, cool.
But I think it could just maybe be a retracement to maybe go lower
Yeah,
again
yeah. Well,
to around
we'll see.
775.
We'll see. I mean, the 1 hour chart's quite good, isn't it? 1 hour for
Yeah, but
noting that
yeah,
we've had a move, a bearish candle in the last 1 hour, and then we've just had a really strong push up, which has now just come off quite strong as well. Quite choppy. Wow, that's a big move.
I reckon in New York, I think it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
You can just feel the tension in
Feel the tension in the air. You can cut it with a knife.
It's wicking up, it's wicking down, it's
Yeah, you'd expect that. That's last out of the month. It's exhaustion. It is what it is. It's still trying to trade shorts on gold becomes a little bit more challenging, a bit more difficult. You have to really pick your entries, shorting the highs and not just jumping on it. We'll see. If it does break in the next hour or two with the US traders providing some momentum, then I would expect to see a break of 60. But again, we'll see. 26,
Yeah,
17, 26. Let's see it down. Yeah.
I just watched the video for I think someone just dropped a Frank that thing about divergence. I think that divergence play probably wasn't ready yet. You have to be patient when you see divergence, like, because when you first see it, it may not be actually ready to fully diverge and go up. If you understand what I'm saying, like the first
Yeah.
sign of it can
I
kind
was
of be a
going to
fake
ask,
out.
and then I saw Alex angry, so I was like, okay, just step down.
I wasn't. No. It's
So
just like just want
like,
some numbers and clarity.
Yeah.
yeah,
And,
I was backtesting almost the 764 and the rest of them. It's just sometimes I think it won't go up. Like, let's say it's like the last support,
Yeah.
whatever, and then it just breaks it and then goes down. And sometimes it doesn't reach the 764 and then it reverses. So I feel like I'm missing something. I'm just doesn't know what is it.
But
Um,
it depends what time frame. What time frame are you talking about?
I've been doing the top down analysis. Like I will go on 4 and then 1 and then go back to the 15. It's
Okay.
just
It's a
um
4 hour, 1 hour and 15 minute, and you're not seeing how price, for example, just like here. Look with gold. Well, let's look at it on the minute by minute time frame. The range. We stabbed down to that 76.4 area. It's not an exact science, is it? So it's stabbed on through, but it's pretty much found some support. So if I was shorting this down to here, I would have been looking for 60. What did I say? 60. I did say 76.4, about 67. So short it to 67. The fact that it goes down a bit lower, a few more pips, that's okay. But it didn't retrace 100%. It failed and it's rejected. So if you were taking a long off the 76.4, you could go long from 77 and take it up. That was a nice little retracement off the 76.4 area. And your stops could then, because it's stabbed down, your stops would be around 1765 and a half roughly. So you're looking at about 15 pips stop loss to take it long. So you use the last stab down, the last spike down where it went to as a place where you look to put your stops, just below there. You don't need to put it below the 100% or any lower. You put it here if you think it was going to find some structure and support. Now on a day where price is range bound, I quite like that 76.4. In a trending market, however, I don't look to buy off here. I would look to sell to it and keep shorting and repeating and shorting, and maybe hold a short until such time that we get down to 67, and that's how we would play with the 764, looking for the shorts. But I wouldn't then necessarily look for a bounce and a buy. But it did do it. It went down to it, which is good, and it's reacted off it, which is nice as well. And that's how we trade
this
the
is another
764.
probably silly question. How do you use your EMA? Is that the 200 and then you always you always
Ah, yes, please.
see if it's like below the 200 or like the moving averages?
I think with regards to like EMAs, they just help to identify when a market. They're good when the market's in a trend. They're quite helpful on multiple time frames. Again, when you use in the higher time frames, you can see that they just help to provide bearish price action. But when they start to fan out, so let's look at the 4 hour on gold, for example. So the 4 hour on gold is, you've got a crossover of all the EMAs. They started to provide some good resistance up here, and they're very close knit. So it's very powerful resistance here. And then as it starts to keep testing the EMAs, we're in this bearish trend. You can see they're trading underneath. So if they're trading above the EMAs, it's bullish. If they're trading below, it's bearish. So that's one confluence that you can add quite simply. I've got an 8 period EMA. I have a 21 or a 20, it's up to you. A 50 and a 200. So I have the 20, 50 and 200. And then I have the 8, which is the small one, just to help gauge the price action and the market, to keep it sort of, in this case, still bearish. If it breaks that 8 moving average, then I'll start considering whether or not we start seeing some bullish price action. But yeah, that's how we use the EMAs. Can we shut the door, please, and keep it quiet? I'm trying to talk with people, and it's just, you come in and disrupt. It's too loud. Thanks. And he just comes in because he's bored. Look, come.
Man, thanks a lot.
Can you shut the door, please? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Now the EMAs have started to fan out, so they've started to separate. So we have this mass separation. It's a bit like we see on the MACD sometimes, when we get the mass separation between the two lines. Things start to separate. So then you start to say, well, these EMAs are no longer providing any usage in terms of keeping you in that downtrend. But where they come into their own is if the price finds some support and decides to retrace to the 20 EMA, for example, so puts in a retracement back up to, say, 1800, which is sitting at 1798 on a 4 hour, or if it goes up to the 50 EMA, 1822, or goes back up to retest the 200 EMA, then if price is bullish, then they start to become relevant again, because then they're going to provide that resistance, or they're going to be like acting as a magnet, as a place that we could buy up to. But also, if we're just going with the trend, looking for a retracement, looking for an entry on the retrace, so go up to these EMAs, maybe alongside some other resistance, so maybe some fib levels, and then we'd look for shorts off them EMAs again. So that's how they become useful. So they are useful in that respect. I find that they just provide another confluence, another reason. And when we're intraday trading, so use them on a 5-minute chart and a 15-minute chart and maybe a 1 hour chart. They're quite decent, quite powerful. They're really good for that. I mean, a 50 EMA and a 200 EMA are cool. 20 EMA if stuff's really bearish. Again, you have to kind of play them alongside the fact that this has already moved a ton already to the downside. It's moved a lot, hasn't it, to the downside? So how powerful are we going to use? How powerful or how much significance are we going to give to, say, the 8 period EMA or the smaller EMAs like the 20? I'd probably start looking at the larger ones, so the 50 and the 200. And then which time frames are we going to use? Well, because again it's sideways and we've tested this low and we're finding some support at around 65. It's clearly holding at the moment. Then I would look at potential for this to shoot on up. So use a 15-minute, a 1 hour, 4 hour, and just look at where the EMAs are to the upside. So maybe 75 on a 15-minute, maybe 93 on a 15-minute, maybe a 91. So. But they're there as a marker. They're always on your chart, and they're there, and then they become relevant when they become relevant. So when price starts to move towards them, price gravitates towards them, then you start to pay attention to them. It's just as with any support and resistance. You say, okay, what have I got there? Okay, I've got something there. I've got an EMA there on this time frame. So it may go up and challenge that area. That may make for a good target, or it may make for a good place to enter for another short trade. So again, that's with any form of support and resistance. Look for them, see where they're at, and then when they become relevant, so when price starts to challenge those levels as price challenges any form of support or resistance, then you can pay closer attention to them. And if they tie in nicely with maybe other parts of your trade plan or strategy, or provide another confluence, another reason to get into the trade, then that's cool as well, isn't it? So yeah, it's that's what we do. That's how we do it. So hopefully it gives you some idea. I don't use them on their own. I don't use anything on its own. I don't use fibs on its own. I tend to use everything together. More confirmation, the better. And that's just to give you an edge, because then you still only have maybe a 50-50 chance. So it can still all just go against you in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's very helpful. I try to do the same thing when I backtest. I try to do more confluences and more confirmations.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you have to do. Just keep trying these things out and see how relevant they are, and whether you like using them or not. It's just whether you like using them. More to the point, because people will just say, "Oh, I like using them," or "I don't use them," and it's up to you.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's a lot, but yeah, you definitely want to use you definitely want to have like your confluence when you're taking your entries. Like if you see your 50 EMA at your 76 and you're trying to maybe short and everything is on the downtrend, then that's a nice bit of confluence for you to just enter, and vice versa along.
Yeah, again, it's it is. That's it. It's just keep it really simple. Use common sense as well. A lot of common sense involved. And would you short from here? Maybe. Would you wait now for the US traders as we get closer? You start seeing another dive down on stock markets. Stock markets are just messing about, so I wouldn't worry about them too much. They're not nice. They're just trying to work their way back up, but keep seeing these spikes. I think gold is the only one that I'm interested in, because I'm just seeing how low this can go, and whether we will eventually get down to about 1726, maybe even 1700 for another move. It's clearly, when you look on the daily chart and the 4 hour, it's just bearish, isn't it? Daily is bearish. So we did have a bit of a pullback to 80, 84 area. So that's the last swing high. Now, if 84 is taken out, then we would look to see how it's taken out, how price reacts at that level, and maybe take a trade there for another short if it was to get up there. So just look for and look at where the EMAs are, look where the fibs are, all of that. But you can see everything's just very choppy. So pound pairs have just flicked up again. They've just spiked up. Did I did I'm always very hard on Luca. Always hard on him, because he's a young guy. He is 19, and he is interested in taking one of these challenges in the new year. Maybe January, maybe after Christmas.
He's steering away.
I think what he said, his computer was running out of battery. So he knows anyway. I always message him as well. I just said to him, it's sensible to provide figures, not just say, do you see that resistance? Because I'm looking at a chart and I see multiple resistance. Let's talk numbers. It's about being clear on what you're trying to say. And I appreciate that maybe my temperament is very thin with him. I don't know why. I just think because he talks a lot, and I talk a lot, but he talks a lot and he doesn't know what he's talking about sometimes. And I talk a lot, and I think maybe I know a little bit more. So I think, okay, I'll make an allowance. I'll make an exception that I talk a lot, because I'm the one that's supposed to be assisting you lot, and maybe you want to listen to what I have to say, because maybe it will help you. So if someone's going to provide some input which Luca does, sometimes it can be a bit confusing, and I don't want confusion really, and so I'm on him because I want him to do well, and it's not easy. This business is not easy at all, and I've said to him, just don't necessarily get involved just yet. Wait. I think he may get some Christmas money for Christmas, which he will then use to do one of these challenges, and that's what he was insinuating. I'm thinking, that's what you want to do with your Christmas money. I was like, well, are you ready? So if you think I'm hard on him, it's because, well, the last thing I want to see is for him to come up to. Oh, look, we're having a bit of a go on gold. It just rejected off the last high. Last thing I want to see anybody do is just say, okay, I've traded for 5 minutes and now I think I'm ready, or I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm going to have a go anyway. And like, well, maybe just hang on a minute. That's quite nice for a quick bounce off the highs. 73. Wow, look at that. Gold. Is gold going to make it? Gold is trying to make a proper move down now. So there you go, a bit choppy. It's funny, isn't it? The US traders start to come online, and they just you start seeing some volume as positions are taken. I'm not going to scare you off though. By all means, if you want to ask some questions, just maybe ask me what I think about something. That's cool. Generally, what I was wanting to see was somebody who's interested in perhaps taking a trade, which I think he was interested in taking a long on pound CAD, and I think that's playing out quite nicely for him in terms of finding the support and going up. So that's good.
I did one of Rob's trades on the interesting, a total of 30 pips in profit, and it looks like it's going to be take profit.
Okay.
That's one that I've posted in the Discord.
I haven't.
Post another image like.
I haven't looked. Which one? Sorry, which one? Which instrument? Oh, Euro Yen. Yeah, you've liked Euro Yen today. Euro Yen's actually provided some range and volume and momentum, hasn't it? It's been swinging.
I just like the way it shot up and then started to retrace, and I had buy limits at the 38 and the 50, and it just missed out on the 68. I think it just whipped down.
Yeah.
Didn't trigger, but then started moving up, so it did enter in 2 spots.
Okay. I like the fact that it is moving with dollar yen as well. So if you pull up a dollar yen chart and maybe have it alongside it as well. If you're trading euro yen, look at dollar yen. Whatever dollar yen's been doing today, the euro yen has been doing. Ooh. Yeah. So yeah, dollar yen and euro yen have been moving quite well together, haven't they?
Oh, it's very much. Yeah. Actually, that would have been a really good entry. It actually retraced down to the 76.4.
It's powerful, that 764. Frank, you were asking about the 764 and people that were perhaps listening to where we were explaining that 764. So I gave an example with gold. Does that make sense in terms of how we use it? We buy off it and we sell off it. We basically go short to it and we go long off it in this case. So it's a very flexible strategy that you can use to go long and short. So for me, I would say gold is bearish, so I'm only interested in shorting. So the fact that it bounced off the 76.4 and went long, I wouldn't take that. I'm not interested in it. If we were in a sideways market where we hadn't been so bearish, then maybe I would look for a long, because I understand that the markets they have the potential to go up and down. But in this case, I'll just go with the trend. So each time so had it retraced to a 764 level, for example, I would then look to short it back down off there. So that's how I use that particular strategy. You, how's that sound to you? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, so the way I did it, like the easiest way, once it breaks the 764, I wait for like a candle to close above it, let's say,
Oh yeah,
and then I
sure.
would just and then just wait for it. That's when I got like 1 to 13 risk to reward ratio. I got like
Yeah,
it was like 1 to 13. I was like, this
that's
is amazing.
nice.
Like risking 5 pips, I made like 150.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
really good.
backtesting it and I was like, oh man, this is amazing. But then it's not always. Sometimes I put my sometimes like it goes above the 100, so
Yeah,
like we saw the lowest low, which is
yeah,
like the 100%, and then it just breaks above the 100 and just goes above and
yeah.
above. This is what where it tricks me. Like I don't know when or
Yeah, so again, it's not an exact science. There are rules, and it is about back testing, but it's about how many times did you win on it, and how many times did you lose with it, and also the times that you won, what were the markets doing? You know, when did you get in, and when you lost, what were the markets doing? You know, again, that piece of it, those pieces of information are important. So they're going to fill in the blanks for you. They're going to give you that information that you perhaps are not sure about. For me, I find that I use that fib level, that 76.4, as a marker, a line in the sand for me, and I will say, okay, price will go to that level, and then we can then take it to that level as a trade, or when it gets to that level on a retracement, then I'm interested in, you know, in taking it the other way, and that could often be the start of a bigger move down. So like you say, a 1 to 13, because that could be the start of an Elliott wave move. So when you have a move down, the first move down, it's a bit like a bouncy ball. It goes down, it hits some support and it bounces up. And so we plot some fibs on that initial move, and we measure it, and we say, okay, what sort of a bounce up are we going to get? Now if we get as high as a 76.4 as a retracement, as a bounce up, so we've had the first move down, and it bounces all the way back up 76%. So it's percentage, it bounces up 76% of that first move, and then it stalls. I'm saying, okay, good, it's done the first move down to tell us that it wants to be bearish, and then it pulls back. So you'll see it sometimes with a trend line. It will do a break and a retest. So it breaks and then it goes back up to retest before it confirms to the downside in this case. So that's what we use the fib for, that 76.4. When we get the pullback to the 76.4, that's the start of an Elliott wave 3. So we've had the wave 1, the move down. Then we have the bounce back up, 76.4. That's wave 2. Wave 3 is the big move. On an Elliott wave, if you Google, look up Elliott wave, you use your fibs in conjunction with Elliott wave, and you have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, and then you have an A, B, C correction. So wave 3 is often the biggest leg, the biggest move. That's the money making move, because we've had wave 1 and 2 to confirm them set up, and then wave 3 is confirmation. It's like, okay, we've done wave 1 and 2, we've confirmed, okay, we're gonna go, and the volume pours in and you get the move. And so Elliott wave can be quite powerful in that respect. It's about finding the setup. So each time we go to a 76.4 retrace on a higher time frame, I'm interested, because when we look at things like technical analysis and we look at these theories, so Elliott wave theory, if a wave 3 comes into play, I know that there's potential to make a lot of money from a big move. And how do we measure that wave 3? Well, you just go into the rules. So type in Elliott wave and type in the rules for Elliott wave, and get an explanation what it is to look, what you look for. So that 764 serves a much bigger purpose, a much bigger picture. We're looking at, basically it's gone up to retest where it's come from, and if it fails up there, all it's done is it's done the sell off, the pullback to retest the highs, and it's telling you, no, we're not going long, we're not interested in long, we're failing up here. So it's confirming, it's saying, okay, are we going long? No, okay, we're not going long, that's fine. It's done a decent pullback, we're good to go to the downside. So then you take it down and you ride that wave, that lovely leg down, and it will give you a decent sell-off, and it will extend, and it will often extend down to like a 127 extension or 161 extension. So it will take out that wave 2 low, takes out the last low. So that's what I'm looking for now, just to see if it's going to take out the last low on this gold currently. It has nothing to do with the Elliott wave as such, but it's just certain things that it helps you gauge the price action and the market, and understand that there's often method to the madness, and there is things aren't coincidental so much. Things are actually moving to key areas, and understanding what's there, that key area. If you have a naked chart, you don't see it. Everything's invisible. But as soon as you start putting, do your technical analysis and start putting fibs on your chart and start slicing up the range, carving it up with these fib levels and these EMAs and other bits and pieces, it starts to give you a slightly better picture. Some charts can get quite busy though. I can appreciate that. It can be there's a lot going on, so it's always nice to use. This is where my trading view comes into effect. Trading view will be like, okay, I'll keep everything clean.
Question whenever you're ready.
Here, go for it. Why am I the market?
NZD JPY. I had a question. So JPY had some strong news yesterday, and so you had kind of a false sense of strength where it was a pull down.
Yeah.
And then NZD took back over and
Yeah.
went long again. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So just how you use the 764 level, whenever it went south, could you, once it breaks like a 236 range, and then just take it back up to the original long bias to the 764?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I tend to redo my, if it's a smaller time frame, like a 1 hour or less, then I probably need to update and replot my fib levels, because you want to have the zero at your starting point of that retracement. So I mean, let's have a look, shall we? Let's pull up. Let's actually go to which one? New Zealand yen.
Correct.
Let's have a look at it. Let's go. So New Zealand yen. Which time frame would you suggest?
You already know the answer to that one. 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look at. I'll tell you what. Let's do an hour time frame. Let's argue, or let's look at this here. This last swing high, which was back on the 29th at 11 o'clock. So
Yeah.
that's where it opened and it drops, and then we're monitoring and measuring this retracement. It did sort of stall a little at that 76.4, and it was wondering whether or not it would break down. But yen, I've been watching the dollar yen today, and some of the guys have been watching the euro yen, and dollar yen and euro yen have been moving well together. So I'm assuming New Zealand yen would be pretty much doing the same. But dollar yen's the one that's been an influence in this respect. So have to look at what the bigger picture is doing in terms of, like you say, yen. Is it yen strength? I mean, that's just a bit messy. But it's gone up and hit the high, isn't it? Taken out the high, and that's dropped.
Yeah.
But I mean, had it stopped here and perfectly hit that 764. So this is the wave 1. This would be Elliott wave. So it'd go wave 1 down, and then it bounces. So we measure this pullback. When it gets to here, let's just pull the chart so we get rid of that. And say it gets to about there and it starts to stall a little bit like it was doing there on that candle, and it putting a high at around 73.30. We could put a stop loss above 73.30 area, anywhere above here, so it doesn't need to be a massive stop. We could then say, okay, get in at around 73.25 area, give or take a few pips, and then we could say, okay, we're looking for this to go down, and then what we would say is this is Elliott wave 1 to 2, and this is wave 3. Wave 3 would then be a big move, which would often be at least double this move. So what's this move? This is 73.34. So we're looking at about maybe 35 pips. So that would be maybe 70 pips. So add another 35 pips onto there. Takes it down to like here somewhere like that as a wave 3, for example. again, look up the rules
Yeah,
because it
and
does
then
differ. But that's what we'd be using that 76.4 for a potential change in direction, where price has gone up, tested previous structure as well to the left. So we can say, okay, previous structure's there. What else do we have in terms of resistance? So we need it to be giving us a bit more than just the 764 on its own. So maybe some EMAs, maybe some indicators, whichever ones you use, maybe to provide some exhaustion to say, okay, we're done. But also, what's the trend? So this is where you look at the higher trend. If this is bullish, then I wouldn't necessarily be looking for that, for anything more than a few pips. So that's bullish still, isn't it? So
yeah, that was my question is whenever you
yeah,
have an established low where it
yeah,
goes and retraces back to the zero,
yeah.
once it breaks like a 236 level, can you go and take it long back up to a
Oh
764,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is
I
which
do.
is
Yes.
previous
Yeah.
resistance? Okay,
Yeah. I,
that's
I,
my
I
question.
don't. I think
Okay.
I posted it in the strategy section as well. I did share it. I tend to look for the 38.2 as an area of interest. So
Okay,
not the
that's just a harder
23.
level to pass through.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. Yeah,
that
but
makes sense.
I did say it depends how you are as a trader, how aggressive you are. You could scale in once you find the bottom and think, actually, this is kind of cool. Let's see if it breaks at 23. I'll take it long at the 23, which would be here somewhere, and then maybe use those smaller time frames. Like, let's have a look at the 15 minute. So it went up here. Let's put that 23 on
Yeah,
this
and you
chart.
just had a little bit of some, you had the JPY news yesterday that
Yeah,
really kind of thing was when you see um, pullbacks like this, and it's just new pairs long bias, you can use that 23.6 or 38.2 to just take it back up to the 764. Because if you see, I mean, around the 764 range, you want to really get out anyways unless you're swinging it, just because all it's done is drop and just sit around that price.
yeah. So I can see here that 23.6 is at 73.05. So when it rejected off the lows, 73 round number, so it's floating above 73. So we say, okay, well, let's use that round number as an indicator, as a confluence, and let's look for a long back up because we're going with the trend. And that would have been a really nice trade to buy the dip basically, and entering off that 23.6 is nice entry, aggressive, and it's using the stop losses just below. So you're probably looking at maybe a 10 pip, 15 pip stop loss. That's not too bad, is it really? So it depends on the
No.
style of trader. You could probably look to get in there. That's quite nice. So you're just refining that strategy a little bit and saying, I want to encompass the 23, and I want to buy off the 23 if it breaks it. Me, I'd look for it. Depends the range and depends the instrument, but I'll be looking for extra confirmation off that 38.2, especially here previous structure. So it went here, it thought about it, rejected, but then it broke and went up. So that's okay. So there you go. So you're in here, and then my stop loss would be initially here at the lows, but then on the break and as it starts going up, if I'm looking for a bigger move, this would be my T1. This 76.4 would be my T1. So 73.25 area roughly, because that's 26. So I say 25, just round it down, and get in somewhere down here, maybe for what, 10, 15, 20 pips, depends your entry. And I'll pull my stop up then to break even, or pull my stop up, trail my stop up a little bit, and just keep it tucked in underneath all this price action. Once it gets to there, break even, take some profit, and just hold a position now, risk free, and see how high it can go. So yeah, it depends how you play it and how you manage
Yeah,
it,
that was
but
my next question
yeah, always take some profit though.
is like what you just said. So yeah, and like you have a range on the 764 level.
Yeah.
So you would, especially coming in like early on the week, you would still kind of hold it and just crank up the stop loss, and then that way, if it just swings in your favor for the next couple of days, you do it that way as opposed to just doing the 764 and just exiting.
Yeah, it's a fine balancing act, because when you're messing about with your stop loss, sometimes you can suffocate the position, suffocate the trade, and it goes and hits your stop
Right.
loss and then goes into profit. It's a balancing act, isn't it? So again, that's about finding your own rhythm and finding what works best for you in terms of how you trade. But whatever it is you do, just keep doing it the same way and trust the process. And then you make these little tweaks, these little refinements, these little adjustments, and that's what trading is about. So you identify uptrend, pull back, like look for an entry. Okay, 23.6 I want to enter. Put my stop below here, 10 pips, whatever. Take it up here for 20 pips. Okay, I'm going to take 1 to 2 risk to reward. Bank some profit here. Move the stop to break even. Job done. Yeah, good. So what was that? That's a 15 minutes. So 15, 30, 45. About an hour. An hour trade. Okay, you've done that. Taking profit. Stops at risk free now. Taking some profit. Leave it now. And look for a bigger range. Look for the bigger move up. Where's it likely to go for T2? But certainly you don't need to do any more trading for the day, and you don't need to overtrade that move, and you can be done for the day, and you've taken some profit. And obviously now if it does break up and give you a T2 or goes towards your T2, then happy days. And for me, I start looking for these fib extension levels of this breakout. So for me, I pull these fib extension levels here. So for me, upside.
You do the exhaustion levels as well?
Yeah,
Okay,
always.
I didn't know
I need to know where it's going to. Forward tested. Where's it going? Where do you think it's going to go?
Got you.
I need to know that it's not just going to go to infinity and infinity and beyond. Hey George, to infinity and beyond. We want to know where the next levels of support resistance are. So we need to know where it's likely to react and maybe take some more profit off at those levels.
Do those numbers theoretically act in the same way as the previous numbers did? So like a 1.38
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
and the 236 acts the same as a 1.236.
No, not really. No, these extension levels are the ones. These seem to work really well. So a 127.2, and then we have 161.8, that golden ratio, with the 76.4 just above, which creates some sort of like a net where you're fishing and it kind of gets caught up in this area here. That's quite a nice move. If it gets up to there, that's a really nice extension level. Gets caught in that little range there, I'll take some profit there for definite. So I have these two together quite close, and imagine you're fishing and you've cast your net out to catch some pips. and that just acts as that.
Cool.
It's kind of nice, really.
All
Yeah,
right,
so
well,
yeah. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you for letting me pick your brain. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's useful. So if we do one of these, that was useful. If we do stuff like this every day and do one analysis on certain pairs that people are trading, and we just break it down like that, that I'm sure will be valuable and useful to traders, especially those looking to take an FTMO. Yeah, I think FTMO is a really good idea. Prop firms are a really good idea, but make sure you have a strategy. Make sure you can break things down like that and trade pretty consistently with that sort of idea, and be able to walk through stuff and have an idea of what it is you're doing. Just have some idea. It doesn't need to be perfect, because we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for probability. It's not going to be 100%. It's going to be, it's going to be 60%, 70%. It depends. Maybe every 10 trades you take, you may win, 5 of them, break even on 3 of them and lose 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. So it's trial and error, but it's about finding a way that a way that works. So, and that's it. That's what trading is. And then when you feel like you are achieving that, doing that, then take these challenges, because you think, okay, I'm ready now. Common sense is telling me I'm ready. I can actually go and get some money. Let's go get the money from these prop firms, because I'm ready to start, making money. Just always ask questions of yourself and be strict on yourself. Be demanding of yourself. Ask the questions that you would ask someone else as a trader, or anybody. Common sense. Again, it's common sense. A lot of it should spill out into life. A lot of people say that trading gives them a really good idea as to who they are as a person, because they've been forced to call on every ounce of emotion and I don't know, everything that they can muster, every bit of energy from every part of their body to try and make something work or stick or make sense of it all. And so you become quite...
Take a long, hard look at yourself.
Yeah, you become quite humble.
You have to accept, like, yeah, like you have to accept, okay, there's
The-
certain bullshit in here, people actually not know what I was doing,
yeah.
etc., etc. And that does take some,
A few
that does take
home
some energy,
truths,
yeah.
yeah. But that's okay. Imagine if you're this humble person who knows about their own strengths and weaknesses. It's really hard to do that. We can sit and we can judge other people, we can critique others, we can help others, we can give advice to others. We can't do that with ourselves. Not that easy. Some people have a real problem saying sorry. So if they don't ever think they're wrong, then they're going to be the worst kind of trader, because they step into this arena with that attitude and they're just going to get chopped up. So some people are perhaps not best suited for this kind of business and environment, and so again you need to maybe take the baby pips, take a baby pips personality test, and find out what sort of trader you are.
Oh,
That's
I
quite
can do
useful.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go Google that as well. There's stuff out there. Just do personality tests and trading personality tests, stuff like that. But go on to Baby Pip's website and they've got one, or they've got some different tools like that. I think for me that's what is rewarding, because you do learn a lot about yourselves, and if you're having some hardships and you're struggling, and then it's just a test of character. But it's just life. Don't don't get all suicidal over it. Just take the positives from it. Appreciate that you're being tested, you're being challenged, and it makes you feel alive, and that's what life's about. Or you could just be, sat at home claiming the benefits and just or work a 9 to 5 job if that's what you want, for a bit of a comfortable existence. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you feel like you were put on this earth for something a little bit more, and or you just want to have a bit of fun and just try something completely new, and certainly this is that. So yeah, again, ask those questions and put it in your trade plan. Why are you trading? What's the reason for it? If it's just for the money, forget it. You've got no hope. If it's because just you want to find out things, or you're not sure. I mean, a lot of people are not sure. So I don't know, but I think maybe trading might give me something that I'm missing in my life. It might give me a purpose. It might provide something a bit more meaningful to my otherwise sorry existence. So if that's how you feel, I don't know. It's just, but each to their own. But certainly this business and doing something like this and being an entrepreneur and going out there and testing and challenging yourself with everything and anything, sometimes it's quite refreshing, quite rewarding, I think, and sometimes sometimes it gives you a zest for life again, rediscover a new passion. So for me, I think I've just covered a few things as to reasons why people might want to trade, and I didn't mention money once. I just talked about
yeah,
personal development, which again is why we say, if you focus on that and give 80% to that, then the 20% that you actually do the trading with will come. That'll just come naturally, because you'll have laid those deep-rooted foundations for you to stand tall without you then buckling and bending over, because you've laid those solid foundations, and that's what you need to be doing as a trader, or starting any business. This is a business, so if you're starting this as a business, treat it as a business. You've got to do all that work in the background, and that might take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. People say 3 years, so give yourself 3 years. We talked about the plan, the 5 year plan. Year one, 10k. If you make some money on it, you might double your account, or maybe turn it into get break even, or who knows. Maybe make some money on it after you've laid the foundations. And so as you go into year two, that's when you maybe start seeing some profit. Oh, did someone just hit a TP on something? Did you go short gold? Anyone make money? Anyone making any money? For the 764 strategies, how do you identify a swing to measure? Do you check bias from high time frames? Yeah. So we looked at the New Zealand yen just then, and we said, okay, it's bullish. So as it dropped and pulled back, then you start buying into it and take it up to that 76.4 for the retracement back up as your first target. So with gold today, we had the same principle, bearish price action, we get some sort of a retracement, and then we look to short it back down to the 76.4 as your first target. And then if it breaks that, clearly then you're looking for extension levels to the downsides. So yeah, higher time frames will give you the higher projection, will give you a much bigger target. Trader. Yeah, that's what they mean by top-down analysis. So we look at gold. Gold's bearish. Okay, so we look at gold as bearish. Pound pairs, pound yen is bullish. Pound yen is bullish. It's been waiting to pop to the upside. US traders are coming in, and now they're providing that momentum. That's good if we can get some bullish price action with pound pairs. That will lead to further downside with gold as well, because they seem to be correlating. Understand correlation as well. Euro pound should go down if pound dollar is going up. Put them next to each other, or one above, one below, and they mirror each other. Dollar Swiss should go down, or if euro dollar is going up, because they tend to correlate quite well. It's never 100%, but they tend to correlate quite well. If pound pairs are all rallying, which at the moment they're all singing to the same tune, aren't they? They're all going up now. They're all moving really, really well to the upside. They're all bullish. So that's what you do. You just go with that trend. Really nice price action. Look at that for pound yen. Is it going to stall at around 30? Wow, look at that. Beautiful. At 152, so nearly the close of this hour, and we've had a really strong move up with 7 minutes to go. And then the US Open in just over 30 minutes. I'd like to see another move up on the stock markets, and then see gold break this low. So we'll just wait and see if we have one more little down move on gold. It's just sideways at the moment. But these moves are quite nice. I mean, when you get a move like that, you take some profit and then you stand aside and wait for the next setup. Depends where you get in. A crazy person who exchanges his money for freedom instead of his freedom for money. See also, best job in the world. Okay, what dictionary was that then? Wow, look at that, we're going another pump to the upside. Where are we then? We've got down to, where have we gotten down to on gold so far? Down to 67 on gold, okay. We're just chopping around still. 6 minutes to go. And we're finding supports. Let's do some analysis on pound yen, because it tested the previous high and it smashed on up through. Okay, we might start seeing with the 5-minute and 15-minute on gold, we might start seeing a bigger pump to the upside. It's found support, and we're starting to see the first bits of green. 5 minutes to go. So I'm just going to mute the mic and just see how we get on.
Is that a water block on the 5-minute chart with gold?
Okay, so we've covered a lot. I've just started reading what was on the YouTube channel as well. Fabrice, yeah, 725, 1725. Well, yeah, looking to see if it would do that, but it's finding some support at the moment and it's holding. So we'll see what happens today. So Jeff from Canada, that's good. Nice to hear from you. I think that's it for this session because it's close to 3 hours and it's quite a long session. We've covered a lot, and for anyone to scroll through that, it just makes it quite a bit too much to want to just go through it all if they want to learn something. If it was like a 1 hour session, maybe they'll get more value from it. Yeah, but so I think that's enough. I think that's good. There's nothing else that needs to be shared in that respect, so I'm going to stop it there, and I'll leave the Zoom on, so if anyone wants to jump into the Zoom call, they can do. But I'm going to stop this one.